Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome. My name is Katrin, and I'm a channel, a medium, and a messenger between worlds. And I'm here on my very, very newly born YouTube channel, Light of Polaris, to connect with a collective of very powerful souls. And if you found this video and you resonate with it and the message I'm about to deliver today, chances are very good that you're part of this very beautiful collective. So I want to jump right into it. I have to say, I've been sitting here for almost half an hour before pressing play on the recording. And I did the intro like 3 times over. So this is telling me that this message needs to come across the right way. And I can tell by my own energy that I'm kind of hesitant and I really want to make it right. This is important because I'm here with a collective of guides, mostly ancestors. And there is a very, very important decision that you are about to make or in the process of making, or maybe you've made it recently. But it's a huge, huge decision. And it's concerning the question whether or not you want to have children in this lifetime. So it's a huge and very important decision. And usually I don't really do that, but this time I'm giving a disclaimer. If you are somebody who knows that you want to have children in this lifetime, but maybe you're struggling with finding the partner or receiving a child, I can tell you right away, this is not your message. So please look after yourself and don't continue watching this message. Same thing for somebody who gets really, really triggered by this topic. Please always take care of yourself. And if you're not sure and you are in the process of making that decision, and you're somebody who is easily influenced by tarot readings and things like that, I would recommend you as well maybe to not continue watching it, because I think this is a decision that you should really make for yourself. And it should come from within. And the more you listen to outside voices regarding this topic, the more you will feel uncertain, and it will get harder for you to make a decision that really feels right for you. So that's just a disclaimer. But in general, I'm always saying, listen to your intuition. If you get triggered, take care of yourself. You don't have to watch every tarot reading or channeled message that speaks to you. And so I would hate for anybody to watch a message like that and then base a decision on it or get really triggered or So with that in mind, let's get into the message. So there are some ancestors, and they have a message for, it very much feels like a feminine. Of course, feminine, masculine, that's always, I'm talking about energy, and there can always be a man dealing with this kind of energy. But in this circumstance, it really feels like, or very much feels like, that this is mostly a message for women. Definitely a feminine energy. It's very much related to heavy expectations that are being placed upon you. And like I said before, like the energy that I've been tapping into before recording this message is telling me a lot about that, because I was thinking about things like, my hair, it's not completely dry. I've just been taking a shower and getting ready for the day. And so I was thinking about those kind of things like, oh, can I record a message like that? My hair is not completely done. And usually I don't really care about this kind of stuff a lot. But this told me that this is about like the expectations that are placed upon women in our society. And those ancestors, they also gave me through a message around this decision about wanting to have children or not, or let's rather say somebody making the decision that they don't want to have children, because it feels very clear to me that the person this message is for, they know by now that they don't want to have children. But that's a decision it wasn't easy for them to make. They've been struggling with that quite a bit, probably for years. That's not something that just like happens overnight. If you're somebody who like knew your whole life, I don't want to have children and this life is not for me, I don't say that this message cannot be for you, but the important part is like the struggle. Even if you like knew you don't want to have children, but you still struggled with this decision. And that brings me back to this, those expectations that are placed upon women, because it's very much intertwined with this, those expectations that society and still a lot of families have. And the idea that women usually want to have children, and that if a woman chooses not to have children, this is something that she has to explain. She has to defend herself in many cases, and there are many ideas that are and beliefs that are projected onto her. I've been picking up on fears, for example, about making a wrong decision. The fear of regretting not having children. And this could be either like your own fears, that you feared that you might regret it one day. But it could also be people around you placing those fear on you, and telling you things like, I don't want you to regret it. I think this is something that's so beautiful and everybody should experience it. And I'm getting very, very strong familial ties and opinions around that topic. So I can tell you, like, the energy is, at first it felt very calm, but when I sat down to like prepare for this message, I started to feel hesitant, and I started to, like I said, I've been sitting here for at least 20, 30 minutes and preparing, and I even already drew some cards because I wanted to get it right. Of course, it's a very sensitive topic. And like I said in the beginning, I don't want to talk anybody into believing something that's not for them. But it also showed me that this is something, like, this is a decision somebody is pondering over quite a bit, and maybe even like going back and forth. And this is the reason why your ancestors are stepping forward with this message for you. So I'm getting into the cards now. I got like 3 oracle deck. I have an oracle deck, and I got 3 cards from that one, and it's the moon. So it's very, like I said, it's very much related to this feminine energy, mother energy, being a mother. It's in German, I apologize, but I will translate it for you. So it's 3 cards, and the center one is take on responsibility. And the one up here says moon mirroring. And I feel like that's important, the mirroring. So, okay, let's start with the responsibility. The responsibility is very much about you are being your own person. You are allowing yourself to make your own decisions. This is something your ancestors are stressing very, very much. Like, I can feel. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm drawn to. There is a chimney. Like, I'm looking out of my mirror and there window, and there's a chimney on the other side, like on the roof of the house on the other side of the street. And the smoke, it's blowing very, very strongly in one direction. So this is telling me about that there is some heavy wind coming in, and you really have to stand your ground. Like I said, maybe it's your family, maybe it can be any kind of expectations. It can be society, it can be friends, it can be family, like it can be anything really. But this wind is blowing really, really heavy. And it feels like it's not easy for you to take a stance and to really hold your ground on that one. Your ancestors are saying that be careful that you don't take on the beliefs and the ideas of other people. And that is talking to me about, like, with this mirror. Make sure that when you look into the mirror, that you really see yourself. That it's yourself that's reflecting back at you, and not the opinions of other people. So it's very important that you are allowing yourself to have your own opinions. Not just opinions. I mean, this topic, it's a major life decision. You don't only have the right, but it's your responsibility for yourself. And also your potential future child, that you make a decision that feels right for you. Okay. So, and they're saying that people projecting onto you, like that you might regret not being a mother. But there's also the flip side, like there's like the mirror to that. And that is regretting motherhood. And that's a very real thing too. So really make sure that whatever decision you make, it's yours and not somebody else's, especially with something like that. Because it's not just your own life that's affected by this, but the child's and the father's, or the mother, whatever, like your partner, if you have a partner, doesn't matter. But it's not just your own life that's affected by this. So, they're putting on so much emphasis on this. And I understand why. Because it is a very, very important decision. And it should be you and only you who makes that decision. The other two cards that are kind of they are containing this energy of, taking, like going inside and really making sure that it's your own decision you're making. There's on the one hand, it's slow down. And the other one is avoid drama. Focus, yes. They are pretty straightforward, but I still wanted to make sure that I get it right. I mean, like, slow down, take your time with that decision. It's, like I said, it's a very important life decision and nothing you should take on lightly or rush into. And this avoid drama is very much about you don't have to go into conflict about this topic. You have the right to, like I said, make your own decisions, take your time with that decision, and you don't have to discuss this with anybody. Maybe your partner, of course. But in the end, it's your decision, and you don't have to discuss this with anybody. You don't have to being okay. So what they're saying is that the thing about discussing this with somebody else who has very strong opinions about this topic and who might be projecting like their own beliefs onto you or their own wishes, who are not objective, who are very much involved in this whole thing. And I'm especially feeling family here, like maybe parents that want to be grandparents or siblings. I don't want to say that they have like an agenda, at least not like in a ill-meaning or conscious way, but still, like, let's take the example of your parents that want to be grandparents. So they might be trying to convince you that having your own family is a beautiful thing and all of that. So your ancestors are saying that it's important that you choose the people you discuss this topic with. Maybe speak with a friend who might be going through a similar kind of experience or has similar ideas about how to lead your life, or look for people online that you can talk about this or read about it or whatever. They are just saying, like, choose wisely who you discuss this topic with, because it's so emotional and because it's so like there is a lot of potential for drama in there, and you don't have to discuss this topic with everybody, especially people who are emotionally involved in this. It's it's coming through so strongly that you really need to make sure that you make a decision based on your own inner truth. And so this I clarified the oracle cards with some tarot, and it's interesting because, speaking of inner truth, the King of Swords came out, which is just the card of knowing your truth, speaking your truth, and standing up for your truth. So this is pretty clear. And then there are 3 major arcana cards coming out, all in reverse, which is not a negative thing. It's not a bad thing. So the way I read the tarot might be a little bit different to whatever you're used to. What this is speaking about for me is that you are still in process, or you're having maybe a hard time like wrapping this whole thing up because there are heavy influences from outside of you. So the 3 cards that came out is the World, the Chariot, and the Magician. And I'm going to show them upright. Oh, I have to cover up the World. Not sure about the YouTube restrictions about nudity. All right, I have the Chariot and we have the Magician. So first thing that I'm noticing about the Magician and the reason why they chose this particular deck is this is a figure, like the way the Magician is shown here, that's not very gender normative. It's hard to tell if this is a male or a female, wearing those high heel shoes. So this is definitely, come on, sorry about that. So this is definitely an issue of gender like certain boxes that you are put in. Like I said, you're a woman, and this is what you should want, right? You should want a family based on the fact that you are a woman. And the magician for me always speaks about aligned action. So this again is very much about not to rush into anything, not to take action without being like completely sure that this is what your way to move forward is. Was that a sentence? Whatever. And the other two cards, the Chariot and the World, are about they're both cards of wrapping up cycles, of taking a leap. Especially the Chariot is about taking a leap. And the World card is about closing out major cycles. Like huge cycles. The World is not a card that just like randomly comes out in a reading. When the World shows up, this means that something huge is happening. And this brings me to the message of the ancestors that they have for you. And I think there's a reason why it's coming out like so late in the reading. Because, like I said at the beginning, this is something that's only meant for people who are sticking around until now and who know that this message is for them and who are like determined to make their own decision. And I feel like that this is a filtering process, that this is a pretty long reading, and if you made it until here, like this message might be for you. So there are certain things that our ancestors were not able to do, like especially women, like deciding whether or not they want to have a family. Deciding whether or not they want to work, or where they want to work, or where they want to live, who they want to marry, if they want to marry. Our grandmothers and great-grandmothers, and sometimes even our mothers, were not as freely to make those decisions like we are today. Thing is, in theory, we are free to make those decisions. But there are still a lot of expectations in family systems, in society, that tell us otherwise, that put those ideas in our heads from when we are little. Like we are watching Disney movies and we grow up with this idea about, oh, it's all about meeting our prince and becoming a mother, and relationships that's like the ultimate goal for a woman, and those ideas are running deeper than we might think, especially when it comes to family. And there is a very, very huge energy around not wanting to disappoint and a sense of loyalty. And this is why they've been stressing so much that this is a decision that you have to make for yourself, not for anybody else. Not your family, not your friends, not society, not anybody. It's your decision. And you have the freedom to make that decision. A decision that your ancestors were not able to make. They didn't have the freedom to do that, but you have. So choose wisely. And I'm not here to tell you whether or not to have children. That's something that you must decide all by yourself. And make sure that you make the right decision. Don't feel pressured or rushed into anything. And okay, this is meant for somebody that the myth about the ticking clock for women is a myth. And you should read up, like you should educate yourself about that topic of, is there really such a thing as like this ticking clock for women? That's just meant for somebody. Because I can feel this time pressure. That's interesting. That's there was a reading. I will put it up here. There was a reading a few days ago I put out, and that was very much about this time. Like there was like a clock that's exploding, and there was something about time pressure. So I will link it up here. Maybe it resonates. Yeah, so your ancestors, is there anything else that they want to share? Okay, they're saying it ends with you. And that's how it's supposed to be. And for whoever this is, like, I will not explain this any further. If you know, you know. If you don't understand it, it's not for you. All right. That's it. This is huge. And I wish you really, like, I wish you all the best. And I can tell you, I know what you're going through. I've been there. And it took me years, literally years, to figure this out and to break free from all of that. And I can just tell you, you're not alone. We are in this together, and I wish you all the best with that. If it resonated, I would love for you to subscribe, maybe leave a comment, hit the like button. It really helps my channel to grow. And yeah, like I said, I wish you all the best and maybe see you in the next video. Bye.